Is the future here? Remember when I talked about the value and price for the Pi network? The recent apps and websites that are being developed within the hackathon simply explains further what I expressed in the last video. More avenue to give value and establish a profitable price for the network is almost complete. What is your understanding of money? Where do you think the world is heading, in terms of money, transfers, and payments? Is money going to be replaced? How close is the future to the present? Is crypto in general a joke or a bubble? Answer to these questions in a bit. I will start by defining money. Money is a current medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Money can be said to be a legal tender, and when defined in this context, it will be this: coins or banknotes that must be accepted if offered in payment of a debt. Therefore, a legal tender is anything recognized by law as a means to settle a public or private debt or meet a financial obligation, including tax payments, contracts, and legal fines or damages. The statement, in case you missed it, is anything recognized by law as a means to settle a public or private debt. Since the inception of cryptocurrencies, it has brought a lot of misconceptions and doubts. People are wondering and asking if countries would actually accept cryptocurrencies as legal tender. In other words, recognize it by law as a means to settle a public or private debt. Hence, skeptics are bent on proving their theories that cryptocurrencies are creations of speculation. Looking closely, you tend to wonder. El Salvador has become the first country in the world to make the cryptocurrency Bitcoin legal tender. This is an indication that the future is here. Do you agree? Let's look at other countries that have positive opinions about cryptocurrency. The United States has taken a generally positive stance toward Bitcoin, though several government agencies work to prevent or reduce Bitcoin use for illegal transactions. Canada maintains a generally Bitcoin-friendly stance, while also ensuring the cryptocurrency is not used for money laundering. Bitcoin is viewed as a commodity by the Canada Revenue Agency. This means Bitcoin transactions are viewed as barter transactions, and the income generated is treated as business income. In Finland, the Central Board of Taxes has given Bitcoin a VAT-exempt status by classifying it as a financial service. The Federal Public Service Finance of Belgium has also made Bitcoin exempt from VAT. In Cyprus, Bitcoin is not controlled or regulated either. Germany is open to Bitcoin, where it is considered legal but taxed differently, depending upon whether the authorities are dealing with exchanges, miners, enterprises, or users. El Salvador remains the only country in the world to allow Bitcoin as legal tender. Yes, of course, there are countries that said no to cryptocurrencies. And they are China, Russia, Vietnam, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador. The decentralized and anonymous nature of cryptocurrencies has challenged many governments on how to allow legal use while preventing criminal transactions. Many countries are still analyzing ways to regulate cryptocurrency. This points to the direction of making cryptocurrency a legal tender. So, what are you waiting for? Countries are working hard to make it legal tender, and skeptics are busy piling up theories. Until my next video, I leave you with words from an expert, Elon Musk, as he talks about money, cryptocurrency, and his support when interviewed at the B-Word conference.
I've been thinking about money for a long time, and really I think it's best to think of money as an information system, primarily an information system for labor allocation. For practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, like very different databases in bank mainframes around the world. It moves quite slowly in reality. It may seem to move fast sometimes, and it does with PayPal, which is real time. But the vast majority of the systems out there are batch processing. So the actual reconciliation may take 1 to 5 business days, sometimes longer. And you have the ACH system, which is ancient and still in operation, which is allows transfers effectively like a check would be an ACH transfer, but it's not secure. And you've got the credit card systems, which are also not secure. It would be like handing your username and password to a stranger in a restaurant if you buy a meal. So there's definitely an opportunity for something that is better from an information theory standpoint. So and there you can think of it like data on a network. I think is the way to view it. What has the most throughput? What has the least error? What drops the fewest packets? Fraud, for example, being a source of error. And government interference in currencies being a source of error. But it's fundamentally an information system. So I think it makes sense to support something that improves the quality of information with which we conduct the economy. And Bitcoin is a candidate for that. It does, I think, some things well, and it's obviously it's evolving, and there are additional things like Lightning being done on top of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin per se is mostly solving for scarcity, or rather solving for essentially having no throat to choke, decentralized. So there's no one who can be coerced in any way to empty their Bitcoin account. Well, I guess they could technically, but on an individual basis, but the system as a whole cannot. And it has an open ledger, which is also quite good. But transaction volume is low. Transaction cost is high, and usability for the average person is not yet very good. But it has a lot of potential. And I should say that, like, I'm not, and I apologize for taking a long time, but there certainly is a lot to say. In general, I'm a supporter of Bitcoin and the idea of cryptocurrency in general. But as I've said publicly, we do need to watch out for crypto taking, especially Bitcoin, using proof of work to maybe use energy that's maybe a bit too much and not necessarily good for the environment. So, but on balance, I support Bitcoin, and I'm not an investor. The only publicly traded stock I own is Tesla, and the only significant thing I own outside of Tesla is my SpaceX stock that could help create both companies. So, but apart from that, I do own Bitcoin, and Tesla owns Bitcoin, SpaceX owns Bitcoin, and then I do personally own a bit of Ethereum and Dogecoin, of course. So.